Tonight we're talking about breast cancer in men, and my guest is in studio. That is none other than Dr.Catheine Nyongesa, a clinical and radiation oncologist. Good evening. Karibu sana, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I know from an oncologist point of view, when I say the term breast cancer in men, often we think that the breast cancer can only happen to women. Now, let's unpack that.
So, we all human beings, when we are born with some breast tissue. So, anyone with a breast can get cancer. And so, men and women can both get breast cancer. Just that women have more breast tissues and more differences in hormones. And that's why it is reported more in women. In fact, in our country, we see that over 6,788 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year, out of which 1% is the one afflicting men. So breast cancer in men, yes, it occurs, but it's very rare.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Now, there's the issue of prevention. We've seen a series of campaigns on about checking for lumps within or on the breast. But we've also seen men lacking in this conversation when it comes to prevention or early detection of breast cancer. What do you think is holding back the men folk from participating in these campaigns?
So, as I mentioned, breast cancer in men is very rare. So, most authorities do not recommend mass screening for men because out of about over 800 people you see, or 800 men you see, only one might get breast cancer in their lifetime. But it does occur. So what we want is to create awareness that they should be more self-aware of their breast health, how their breast normally looks like, and if they see any slight changes, they seek medical help. Because there's a perception that breast cancer only affects women and thus it's a women issue. The truth is that a few men can also be affected. There are those who have a very high risk because of family history of breast cancer, or they have inherited some genes in their family. We call them breast cancer.
So there are traits that
genes.
actually make you susceptible to breast cancer as a man.
Yes.
Let's go through them.
So those kind of risk factors include maybe there's a strong family history of breast cancer in your family.
Male or female, or just breast cancer?
It doesn't matter because you have what you call breast cancer causing genes that can run in family. Or maybe you have you've had radiation to the chest wall for other issues. Probably you have weight issues and use of tobacco. They can put you at a higher risk. Having said that, no one really knows for most people if you get cancer. Sometimes it can come due to some changes in your genes which you cannot tell what really caused it. The genes somehow mutate or they go haywire, they become corrupt and start sending very weird signals to your normal cells of the body to divide. And for the breast tissue, the cells will divide without stopping. Those cells will not die when they are supposed to die. They form a growth or a mass, and this can break off, get into the blood and spread to other parts of the body, which we call metastasis.
So what are the telltale signs? Do they vary between men and women, or are they within the same scope?
Apparently, the signs and symptoms for both male and woman breast cancer, they are very similar. It's just that because the men have less breast tissue, the cancer spreads much faster than in women, and majority of them it's detected late. One of the signs include changing in the skin. Either the skin darkens, it becomes red, or it becomes like an orange peel, which means it looks like it has a lot of dots or pins and needles that have pricked your breast. You may have a nipple retraction, the nipple pulls inward. There could be a lump, and this lump, if left unattended, can form a wound or an ulcer. Sometimes they may have glands swelling in the armpit or above the collarbone. Those are called lymph nodes. And with the time, this cancer can spread to other parts of the body, and the patient might present with coughing if it goes to the lung, chest pain. They can also have abdominal pain because the liver organ can be affected. It can go to the bones, to the brain. Yeah.
Now, we have heard that, in the course of treatment, other than, chemo, we also have radiation. There's also, losing the breast in its entirety. You've said that men, unlike women, have less breast tissue. What happens in the course of this treatment? Do men also lose their breasts?
Yes, it depends on the stage of the disease. So one can have surgery if it's still early stage 1 and 2, which means it hasn't spread much. And if it's locally advanced, it's bigger, the doctor can give you chemotherapy to shrink it, then you can go for surgery. The surgery may involve breast conserving, whereby they remove a small amount of breast. But because men tend to have very small breast tissue, most of the time they will undergo a mastectomy, which means the whole breast comes out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you may have adjuvant treatment, which means there will be additional treatment on top of the surgery. For example, chemotherapy, you may have radiotherapy and hormonal therapy. Really, the standard treatment is almost similar to women, but it all varies with the stage. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The cost of treatment also for cancer is not as cheap. It is far from the reach of a majority. There have been conversations to have, NHIF also carries some cost implications other than that. From where you sit as an oncologist, what recommendations would you give to actually make cancer treatment, irrespective of whether it's breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, or cancer treatment in the country, more affordable?
So it takes responsibility on all of us, the people, the government. For it to be more affordable, we need more people to enroll on the insurance. You can have NHIF, and if you have an opportunity to get an additional insurance, you can enroll on it. If it's in the household, maybe both the husband and the wife can both get cards so that they can supplement each other in terms of need. People should not wait when they are falling sick before they seek for insurance. And also we lobby that universal health care, whereby whether you can afford, you have NHIF or you don't have, it can support you. Mm-hmm. And we are also lobbying for the government to have the devolved health care, whereby you don't have to travel to the national hospital for the same. Probably simple things can be handled at the county, and this can reduce the financial burden on the patient.
Yeah. There's an issue of capacity as an oncologist. Do you think we have the requisite capacity to deal with, the increased prevalence of cancer in the country, as statistics show us?
There's a lot of work that is going on. People may not be aware, but as a country, we have developed a lot of capacity. I can't say we are 100% there, but we've made major steps. For example, we are training locally oncologists, nurses, doctors, medical physicists, surgeons, radiologists, name it. Cancer care is multidisciplinary. So it involves all these disciplines to come together to support. With the devolution of healthcare, we also have specialties in the counties. Not in all of them, but in most of the counties. For example, surgery can be done at the county level. We also have chemotherapy administration centers, close to 10, spread across the country. We have radiotherapy units also in some counties like Garissa, Nakuru, Eldoret, and Mombasa. And then we do have National Cancer Treatment Center. These are comprehensive centers. We have the Kenyatta National Hospital, Kenyatta Teaching and Referral Hospital, the KU, and we have Moi Teaching and Referral. So there's a lot of that is going on. Major universities, the big ones, we talk of the University of Nairobi, is a training hub for this human resource. Moi University is also training. Jomo Kenyatta University is also coming up in supporting just human resource. The technical university, just to improve on the same.
But then we are still seeing a majority of people opting to seek cancer treatment outside the country. What could be the issue? Because clearly you've told us it's not the issue of lacking capacity to deal with cancer treatment. What could be leading people outside to seek treatment, cancer treatment?
I think everybody has a right to be treated wherever they feel, and if they can afford it, I think it's quite in order. Majority of the patients are still being treated locally. There are few who are traveling out either because that is their wish, which is okay, and sometimes because that treatment is not locally available in the country, very highly specialized treatment, and those are few cases, maybe less than 10%, but over 90% of the cancer patients are getting treatment locally. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about breast cancer, often it's frowned upon. As an oncologist within this particular value chain, how are you handling stigma that comes with breast cancer, especially in men?
One is just to create awareness that it is a disease just like any other disease, and if a man has that kind of disease, then they need help. They need both financial help and social help, just to stay the support of the family for them to go through this journey of the cancer treatment. And number two, that it is not like witchcraft, that actually cancer can occur and it can affect men also, and treatment is available. The other thing is that men should not ignore, because they think this is a woman thing, and
yes, actually breast cancer is more seen like a gender issue.
Yes. So we encourage them that if you note anything changing in your breast, just be aware that it could be breast cancer, and the more you let it stay for long, the chances of cure are also becoming less. So early detection is the key to cure.
Any diagnosis in cancer, irrespective of whether lung, breast cancer, there's this feeling that this is actually a death warrant as an oncologist. So let's hear from you.
Yes, it is not a death warrant. Cancer can be treated. It all depends on the stage. So if you have access to timely treatment, I think it's the right thing to do. And there is misinformation that surgery should not be done, or you have a cancer, it should not be touched. That is not the truth. The research has shown that cancer can be treated by surgery. And we do have men and women who've been treated for cancer, and even children who are living testimony. So people should not fear to go to hospital. They need to go because there's always hope. And the doctor treats and God heals.
October is a cancer awareness month, and we're going to be continuing to raise that awareness. Now, as we come to a close, Dr. Ari, just in quick summary, tell us what are these telltale signs that we should be looking out for?
So for breast cancer, so we look at the breast itself. You need to be aware of your breast. How does it feel and look normally? So if you note any skin dimpling, nipple retraction, either a lump in the breast, lymph nodes in the armpit or above the collarbone, ulceration of the breast, those could be warning signs of breast cancer. And not all lumps in the breast are painful, but it could still be breast cancer, so don't ignore.
Don't ignore. That's the message tonight from radiation oncologist and clinical radiation oncologist, Dr. Catheine Nyongesa of the Kenyatta National Hospital there. It's Cancer Awareness Month, and the conversation tonight has been breast cancer in men. The prevalence may be low, but breast cancer is not a preserve of women. So men out there, be aware of how your chest feels and do not ignore any changes.